Welcome to another episode of Full Circle, and I would like to make this your very first spell. Uh, if you are one of my students, if you've been one of my students, then this would be the very first practical magic uh, thing that we're going to do. It's going to be for fun, but it's actually going to have real world application. So, good old pentagram, right? Uh, Fire, spirit, fire, air, water, earth, and back to spirit. So, the invocation, the banishing, the summoning star has many applications, and but one thing we never realize, or a lot of people don't realize when you're beginning in the craft, could the pentagram offer the key to martial arts, to self-defense. So besides summoning and playing with elemental powers, could there actually be a usable template, uh, a pattern that could make you undefeatable in your martial arts? I'm here to tell you yes. So, the big thing in martial arts is angles. Working angles is very important in self defense. The other thing you do is you work the circle. So, there's circular movements and there's angular movements. So, it becomes very obvious blocking, creating angles, your shoulder, your elbow, and your fist. So you can block attack. You can go spirit, down to earth, from earth to water, from water to air, and then from air back down to fire, which then transmutes back up to spirit. So you can kind of and so you can block, 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 an uppercut. So you can use that pattern to create your martial arts style. And so the very first movement of summoning and banishing, clockwise, counterclockwise, reversing an action, and propelling an action. So when energy comes into this dimension, it moves three-dimensionally in a spiral. And so the first form is represented by a triangle. And so these occult symbols, when transferred to your body, become self-defense moves. But they can also be invocational moves. So that's just for fun. So you're like, Chaonix, I'm not gonna punch someone in the face because they're like grabbing onto me, and I'm not gonna do all that, but you can. So the pentagram was right there. So take the pentagram on an angle, spirit, earth and fire, water and air, back again. You could do the circle. Circle the spirit, bam, back down to earth and water, or sorry, earth and fire. And then cross over. You can under their arms, so they're grabbing you. You can punch under into their armpits, into their ribs. You can go through the arms, punch, through the arms, punch. And so there's the pentagram right there. Bam. They grab you to punch you. Hold on to them. Pentagram. Pentagram. Okay, so that's just one way to do that. When you're fighting maybe multiple people or you have to move around, your first step could be towards spirit, back down to fire, over to water, air, then over to water, then back over to earth, and then forward again. So how do you confuse your energy? How do you stay a moving target? You've been doing the pentagram for how long? You could create a way of dodging, a way of deflecting, just by doing the pentagram. So now you got your pentagram footwork. You're unstoppable. So you're moving on an angle. And so that becomes very hard to hit. You're moving on an angle, so it becomes like a blade. So you're like, Onyx, I don't know how to kick, I don't know how to punch, I don't know how to block. That's cool. You can either keep your arms together or in a prayer position, and you can start moving with things. And so we would have probably a 2-hour session on how to use your body as the pentagram. So you have your own way. You're like, Onyx, bro, I'm not one to deflect and move like a crane and a serpent. I'm more fists, And I'll be like, bro, I got you. That's okay. And you're like, I'm not a fist person. I'm not a crane and snake. I'm claw and grab and twist and break. I'm like, that's cool. I got you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grab. Bring down to earth. Bring over to water. Smack over to air. Down to fire. Back to spirit. So you can claw. You can grab. You can twist. You can punch, you can kick, you can grab. So, and then you can just use your whole body to dodge. Oh dang. So you can learn flow. You can become fluid. You can become angular. You can pierce. So, yes, there is the secret to witchcraft martial arts right there for you. So, you can get a little more creative. You can pull out your toy knife. That what you've been using for rituals on your little altar can become a self-defense style. Damn. So you can master the blade really fast. You can master knife fighting when you start to understand the triangles, the angles, the circles to line, pattern. Because circle, well, we could get into some really advanced martial arts, but there's no need to. It's there. You are forming your pentagram. Really easy. You could add both hands to make it look flashy. I'm just saying, the pentagram is a beautiful symbol to pattern the ritual of self-defense, to pattern the ritual of attack, to pattern the expression of your will, of your desires. And so getting active, getting your body involved, it can teach you things. So we're taking high magic out of the temple space out of summoning angels and demons, out of working with the elements. We're making it very practical in your body. So that's this little video. And then this originally came from when I wanted to just create symbols and movements, because the language of this world is actually action. We have to articulate it through some type of action or work to manifest the outcome desired. So me speaking to you, transmitting these ideas, it takes actions of my physical body to make sounds. It took a series of actions, and that was the ritual. And so the original is, how do I create a pentagram walking down the street to protect myself, and I was thinking, I just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, cross at the bottom, create the circle, 6. So that was my pattern, and I could simplify it. I could just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could just make it, instead of doing anything like, Christian. What's a great alternative for a cross? The pentagram. And then the pentagram. What's a great warm-up before I do ritual work? The pentagram. What's a great way to create a psychic shield before I start my day? The pentagram. And what's the great way to cast a circle around me? The pentagram. What's something I can do that looks really casual? Just give myself a hug, right? Oh, can I just look totally non-threatening, non-violent, non-magical, maybe silly? How can I be taken not seriously, but then be doing something very serious for myself? The pentagram. So how can I slip in ritual movements that everyone will be like, oh, he's just being silly, look at that flamer, look at that, how can I hide? How can I occult, hidden from view, something of deep meaning, significance? How can I just kind of put that in there? When I have to go into a business meeting and it's, I feel scared or whatever, how can I not look like a total weirdo, get all serious? You shall not pass. How do I do a Gandalf fighting the Balrog scene in a very casual way that doesn't attract a lot of attention? Oh man, it looks like he's just waving his arm. Yeah, I'm just getting a good stretch. Oh my goodness, that feels so good. Oh shit, there's an attacker. That simple stretch now becomes bam. Maybe I'll just do half the moves. We'll do the abbreviated version of the star. Bam. So maybe I just want to work one corner of the star. Air, water. Maybe I'm just earth, fire, spirit. So how can I add the pentagram into my life without it looking crazy? You know what I'm saying? So this is my little video on more creative use of the tools that you have. So one of my favorite sayings is, it's not the tools of the art, it's not the tools, it's the artist. So the more creative you are, the more genius you are, the more experienced and practical you are in your other skills, the more you can do with something as simple as the pentagram. So I now created a whole entire martial arts system. And how long has this been staring at humanity? It's been staring at us for a long time. So what other tools do you have that you're not utilizing? How can you take them out of the ritual circle? How can you take them out of their grimoire? How can you maybe even take them out of context, out of character, and then create something very functional? Like, there's a whole system right there for you. That's what I'm saying. This is thinking like a wizard. This is like a huge difference, in thinking styles. So I think part of being a witch is being, quoted as cunning. Do you have the cunning? Do you have the mind? Do you have the wit? Do you have the wisdom? So all these we kind of I'd say modern witches try to tag that onto them. They hashtag all those qualities onto them. And I'm like, okay, do it. It's not a reality until it's done. It's not a reality until you are actually doing it and it's living in you. Can you trust it? So literally practice for a month your pentagram martial art. Embody it till it's instinctual and it's a part of you. You've made it your own. And then I would say, yeah, that's yours. And it's available to you at any moment. You don't think about it. You've now created what I call practical magic. Your very first ritual from Onyx. You can use it as self-defense. You can use it offensively. And I share that with the world. I think that's good for everybody. So